In analog culture, the original object was more than just a thing. It was proof of existence itself. A signed letter, an ancient manuscript, or even your grandmother's wedding ring, all carried with them an aura of authenticity that could not be duplicated without losing meaning. But then came photography and mechanical reproduction. And suddenly, the world had something unprecedented, absolute certainty in image form. Roland Barthes called it that, has been a moment captured in time that cannot lie. But as we moved from print to digital, that certainty eroded. What was once a copy with the aura of the original became just another file in an endless sea of data. The more we copied, the less we knew what was real. Neil Postman warned that each new technology doesn't just change tools, it redefines language and reality itself. He saw photography not as a supplement to words, but as their replacement. And today, when even our memories are filtered through algorithmic lenses, we've entered a world where is that we still crave authenticity, but now it's faked. Filters make photos look real. Digital restoration gives old films a pristine sheen, as if dirt itself were the original sin of culture. We've turned flaws into features, accidents into design, and in doing so, stripped everything of its unique weight. The original was never truly real to begin with. It was just a story. We needed to believe before algorithms told us otherwise.
Analog painting is an intimate dialogue between hand, eye, and soul, each stroke imbued with human intention and imperfection.
Once, an authentic photograph carried a trace of its subject. Grain, light, and chemical residue bound it to reality. Now we inject flaws like vitamins, JPEG noise on command, bot-generated typos for character, even AI handwriting that mimics ink smudges from the 19th century. The line between artifact and simulation is collapsing under the weight of its own perfection. When every flaw becomes programmable, from MIDI humanization to death, simulating avatars, we are left with authenticity not as a quality, but as a feature. After Van Gogh bemoaned the flattening of personality in photography, we celebrated interpretation over fidelity. Now that foundational axiom is broken again. What once required human touch can now be simulated down to the last brushstroke or breathy hesitations. The market for these simulations isn't about art anymore. It's about trust. Aestheticized authenticity sells, not because it feels true, but because it looks like it should feel true. We pay for pixels that pretend to have been lived in and swallow them whole. Father's punctum, that jarring detail that pierces the viewer, no longer requires suffering or insight. It can be algorithmically inserted into anything, anywhere, anytime. We no longer look for meaning in imperfection. We insert it like a plug-in. The cultural trust sold to us as authenticity is nothing but simulated textures, designed not to reveal truth, but to mimic its appearance long enough to feel convincing. The death of the original isn't just about duplication. It's about faking how
We have a new human being, and that's Chris Potter of Memetics Corporation, a new synthesizer, the Yamaha DX100, and a new computer, the Commodore Amiga.
In early computing ads, engineers claimed machines could humanize music, that a synthesizer could channel human spirit through circuits and code. One clip declares, "We have a new human being, and that's Chris Potter of Memetics Corporation." It wasn't just about sound, but identities. The machine as collaborator, not tool. But there's a lie in this framing. The algorithm doesn't just mimic imperfection, it simulates it. Curating quirks to make us trust its output feels alive. We hear engineers wax poetic about machines that think. A voiceover insists the computer is not cold, but expressive. A statement only true if you mistake algorithmic quirks for soulful spontaneity. These are not tools meant to reflect humanity. They're systems designed to make us comfortable with their artificial intimacies. The language of humanization is a marketing ploy wrapped in philosophy. It's not about preserving the authentic, but producing trust through calculated inconsistency. That everything becomes a number for the system that measures it. Today, we are not just numbers. We're curiosities in a database of quirks. Our deviations from the average become currencies. Our flaws, algorithmic assets. The machine humanizes us by selling back to us what it thinks is real. It's not that we lost authenticity. We outsourced its creation to systems that never had one to begin with. In an age where you can have a conversation with an AI trained on your grandmother's letters, or resurrect a dead relative in digital forms, what does the word original even mean anymore? These aren't just copies, they are simulations of intimacies, algorithmic afterimages that pretend to be real. The original is not simply replicated, it's rewritten into a suggestion engine for memory itself. Neil Postman once said that technology eliminates alternatives by making them invisible. When the original is no longer a physical thing, but an algorithmic suggestion, we don't lose authenticity. We replace it with performance. The past becomes programmable code, and the future is just a prompt waiting to be completed. Benjamin foresaw that reproduction would destroy the aura. Now we live in a world where the aura is generated by code. The death of the original may not be a loss, but an evolution from scarcity to simulations. In this new world, truth becomes just another variable, something you tune like color balance or resolution.